So, if you haven't heard, New Jersey is currently under siege by a nefarious unknown actor. So far, they have successfully avoided detection and tracking by the Federal Aviation Agency and the Department of Defense by shining FAA and ICAO required navigation and anti-collision lights in the middle of the night so that everyone around them can see them? Huh. Yes, that's right. Much like how a really pathetic psyop by China had ridiculous success, throwing the country into a state of rage and panic, we once again find ourselves in the same situation because of a Cessna flying overhead. I can't make this stuff up. The entire point of my channel is to inspire latent aviation enthusiasts, but also to inspire intellectual honesty and curiosity. So when I see people jumping to conclusions about things they spend every minute of their lives ignoring, I feel compelled to do something about it. Regardless if I get a lot of views or not, at least I can say I'm doing something at all. Though I totally appreciate it if viewers promoted this video, just saying. To start off, let's take a look at and debunk a few of these videos just to get an idea of what we're working with. So this first post is by Casey Snyder, who claims to be filming drones at his house. Let's see the first video. Alright, we got some lights, the image is underexposed. The lights are flashing though, honestly they look like anti-collision lights. Okay, so the exposure came up, but it's behind a building. Okay, yeah, now that it's unobscured and in focus, yeah, nah, that's an airliner. And you can even make out the logo light in the tail fin. Next video, he claims they're spraying something. Thankfully, we do have objects to use for parallax reference, so it's clear that it's high up where you'd expect to see contrails. Also, again, flashing anti-collision lights, that's just an aircraft in Class Alpha. Alright, another video, and yeah, these are jet aircraft. Well, let's see. We got this one here claiming drones are over the Capitol. Let's take a look.
I'm telling you that they're not moving.
So again, flashing anti-collision lights. This person says they're not moving.
They kind of look wide too.
Look at the lights changing.
It is moving.
No, it's not.
It looks like it.
Yeah, but they're not moving. That's an airplane. Hang on.
Which one? The one closest to the Capitol building?
Hang on, let me zoom out a little bit. Yeah, that's an airplane.
But the one in the middle, that one.
That's an airplane. You can see it moving.
Yeah.
The one to the right. Or
So he
here.
points out a couple of examples of some moving here, other parallax
That's an
references.
airplane, okay.
Yeah, over there is.
But he's
Yeah,
adamant
and
those
that's
two
what I'm
aren't
saying,
moving.
Like, when you look to the left of the Capitol,
That one's
those are not moving.
Yeah.
Okay, so truth is, they are moving. It's hard to notice as they're far away, but they are moving. Mick West posted a brilliant comparison showing the original frame and the selections of the last frame overlaid on top. Importantly, he kept important geographic references, such as the lights on what I think is a crane, the rooftop of this building, and this flag. So it's not like he's just scooching these back into place. This is an apples-to-apples comparison. Thankfully, Steve at Green Street posted this, which made my job way easier, and it confirmed what I suspected. We can confirm this graphic by comparing geographic references such as this subway or train station entry point and this round skylight, as well as the aforementioned building and of course the Capitol. And sure enough, if we pan the camera up, yep, there's Reagan National Airport. If you notice, the aircraft are east of the airport flying west. They're likely using the DL3 standard terminal arrival to land on runway 1, which, yeah, makes sense. Typically when it's cold in winter, it's due to winds bringing the Arctic cold from the north. Okay, another one. Saw one tonight. This is not a joke, about 10 minutes before arrival at LaGuardia. This seems a little close to the flight path, no? Well, let's find out. Again, with the city lights in the background, we have an excellent point of reference to judge distance to this object. Alright, so as you can see, he had to crop his sensor quite a bit there, as it's starting to become a sloppy mess on screen. It wasn't even particularly close to his aircraft. But besides that, let's take a look at LaGuardia airspace. Oh, fancy that. It's Class Bravo. Class Bravo requires the use of Mode C as well as ADS-B position reporting so controllers can track your location as well as determine if there are airspace violations. The reason for this is Class Bravo airspace is heavily controlled due to the large amount of traffic. Radar services are used to deconflict and manage aircraft to and from their airports as efficiently as possible. By extension, anyone not flying in instrument flight rules are required to establish two-way communication and receive permission to enter such airspace. So, in short, no. The other aircraft is likely 1,000 feet or more below their own aircraft, and they're plenty far away enough to be a non-factor. This is normal. In fact, in Class Alpha with RVSR separation, it's not weird to see aircraft pass right under and over each other with only 1,000 feet of separation, as Class Alpha has even more control than a Class Bravo. Finally, I'll wrap up this section by showing a post by Will Donahue. It's an out-of-focus light. Nothing to see here. Alright, and for a bit of a palate cleanser and emotional reset, here's a funny meme. Okay, so we got a sample of what we're working with. So, what's happening? Well, in today's day and age, people spend their entire waking hours seeking to be as distracted as possible. Coupled with this issue is the rampant narcissism we've seen in society. People spend most of their time consuming mind-numbing content on their phone, and doing menial tasks at their job, and anything outside of that is simply self-indulgence. It's exceptionally rare for people to just unplug from it all and simply meditate or observe their immediate surroundings. For example, search dopamine detox on YouTube. And it's not that these people are actually detoxing because they're experiencing less dopamine. If anything, they're experiencing more because they quit an addiction that didn't offer a return on time invested, resulting in more time chasing a quick high than actually getting one. On top of that, the number one thing anyone doing this detox will mention is their attention span and attention to detail improved. Many will discuss how they start to notice things around them that they hadn't noticed before. They will also talk about how their sense of curiosity started to grow due to the lack of constant distraction. Now, I'm not out to make a blanket statement such as phone bad, book good. I'm not against technology. In fact, I do a ton of reading, but it's all on my PC or my phone. However, I think it's clear that society has some serious problems, and this is a symptom of those problems. The lack of attention people pay to their immediate surroundings leads to examples like this, where people notice something they haven't before. That lack of understanding causes unease. Coupled with the rampant narcissism, where everyone has to have an opinion about everything, despite putting no effort into learning or understanding anything, and then you have a recipe for mass hysteria like we're seeing now. So this is how it ties back into my mission statement of inspiring intellectual honesty and curiosity. If you don't understand something, ask questions. If the guy filming the video of the Capitol is unsure about what he's saying, there's nothing stopping him from posting on aviation groups and social media. Someone would have immediately explained what I already did. A big part of being honest is being humble. Reality is complex. None of us have all the answers. Anyone claiming or pushing that facade, quite frankly, is a fake. If you seek enlightenment, realize your limitations. No one is omnipotent. We're all observers. From there, seek information. Be willing to accept complications. If anything, embrace complexity. Don't be afraid to say, I don't know. Your ego is your own worst enemy. Keep your eyes, your ears, and your mind open. Don't jump to conclusions, and always be willing to continue asking questions. In regards to these drone videos, they're always at night. Any object, whether it's a dot in the cloudless sky during the day, or a light in the black night, can't be accurately judged for size or distance. This is due to the fact that perspective is relative. How do you define what's far, or near? What's high, what's low? It's all relative to what you're comparing it to. So when you have no point of comparison, you can't accurately judge perspective. It's why the moon looks big on the horizon, but not so big high up in the sky. You lost that parallax reference to compare the perceived size of the moon. So it's no coincidence that these videos are all at night. Exacerbating the issue is people do not understand how the device in their hands work. The cameras are not magic, and they have limitations and flaws. Most of these people are filming on devices with very small sensors, with little to no stabilization, and with their settings on auto. The small sensor size limits clarity even in good light. On top of that, the small sensor also means less surface area to gather light, meaning the light gathering capabilities drop off extremely quickly as lighting deteriorates in the evening. In addition to that, they're not meant for professional use. So often you'll see a phone max out the amplification of the signal of the camera sensor. This is called ISO. And higher ISO settings introduce noise, reduce dynamic range, and wash out colors. After that, the phone automatically attempts to denoise the footage, which is destructive. Then it'll sharpen it, and it'll apply a color profile that is deemed to be pleasant to most people. The end result is the footage being collected is generally just awful to work with. If anything, put the phone down and get a pair of binoculars, or a cheap telescope, or even an entry-level bridge camera with a cheap tripod if you're truly curious as to what these objects are. Even with the horrible footage though, it's clear that these are lawfully operated manned aircraft. And thanks to the Hysteria, there are more and more UFO channels picking up views. Without any context like location, date, and time, it's hard to really say what their videos are actually. But still, a common theme you'll see is terrible quality footage, and again, it's typically at night. Alright, so I recommend everyone just chill out. I think if anything, I might do a follow-up video in January regarding my observations of drones and their effects on modern warfare. But in the meantime, let's put an end to this hysteria. Next time you got some free time, check out ADS-B Exchange or Flight Radar 24. They're both networks that collect ADS-B signals and displays them on maps. You can click a plane, see its details, its flight path, and so on. Just bear in mind, ADS-B isn't a requirement for combat aircraft, nor is it a requirement outside of specific airspaces like Class Charlie, Bravo, or Alpha. Still though, the vast majority of air traffic is on there for you to check out. And you can see a lot of cool things like controllers line up airplanes in a line with even spacing for their approaches. Even though combat aircraft aren't required to have ADS-B out, some do. And you can see them flying around too sometimes. Another tool that's open to the public is SkyVector. You can use it to see how pilots navigate around the country, see temporary flight restrictions, get airport information, download charts, and so on. I myself, many sim pilots, and real pilots use it for flight planning all the time. And again, if there's questions, there's plenty of resources online that explains this stuff, and I'm sure enthusiasts out there would love to assist and teach. Alright, that's it for the video. I'll catch you later.